Welcome back to another Inside Lansing, where today's guest is Superintendent of District 158, Dr. Nathan Schilling. Dr. Schilling, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Neil. Happy to be here.
Now, it's been a couple years since we've had you on, and we've had a lot happen. We've had COVID and many different things happen, but we're starting up a new school year. In fact, we've already gone through the first day, so how did the first day turn out?
We have. And last year, we brought our students back for a full year of in-person learning. And this year, we are once again back full-time following our junior high school back-to-school bash yesterday, as well as our elementary open houses last night. The first day went very well. We had strong police presence at all of our schools. We've made substantial improvements in our school safety initiatives, and we were very happy to see a number of police officers out supporting our great teachers and staff as they welcomed kids back for the first day. The first day was a half day, went very smooth, and we are happy to be back.
That's great. And you have some new kind of security measures in place this year, one being the clear backpacks. How's that turned out for the students?
You know, it's really gone quite well. A lot of them were handed out last night at the open houses. We did also hand them out at the junior high school today during the first day of school. The chief of police, Al Phillips, as well as the new school resource officer, Detective Jennifer Lewis, spoke to every community of junior high school students, just going over some expectations and some safety procedures for the start of the year. The clear backpacks are something we're putting in place because our schools don't have metal detectors. As the community knows, last year at Coolidge Elementary, we unfortunately found a real gun, an unloaded gun, in the backpack of one of our fifth graders. And at the time, we had a discussion about doing metal detectors in our schools. It was determined that that was not quite the right environment that we wanted to create in our buildings, but in order to create an atmosphere of transparency to better determine what's being brought into our schools, that led to the clear backpacks.
And you've had a great response to this so far?
We have so far. There's been a lot of positive parent feedback on doing more things for the sake of school safety, and that's just one of 4 initiatives we're putting in place.
So a couple of the other initiatives as far as school safety would be, for example, like your surveillance system or the Blue Point system. Could you talk a little bit about both the surveillance cameras and the Blue Point system?
Absolutely. And as the community of Lansing knows, we've done a lot to improve the infrastructure of our schools, going all the way back to the renovation and expansion of Memorial Junior High School. We've rebuilt our 3 elementary buildings, and we're currently doing work on Leicester Crawl. Along with that, now we are improving our technology infrastructure, and we've added new high-definition video surveillance cameras in all of our buildings. That is accompanied by a system that provides immediate notification to the police and also the paramedics that complements our existing fire alarm system. So now in our buildings, what you'll see is a red lever, which is the fire alarm. You'll see a green lever that would notify the paramedics for a medical emergency, and you would see a blue one in case there is something like an active shooter or similar situation that needs an immediate police response.
And those systems are in place already?
They are currently being installed in our buildings. Most of the buildings have them set up and ready to go, and we have fine-tuned the communication between those systems and the police department and their systems as well.
And what's great about these systems is it doesn't really impact the kids or the teachers on a day-to-day basis. It's they're kind of just there to be there to help out when it's needed, but then in the background when not, right? Correct?
That's correct. And really the goal with those systems is to improve the speed and efficiency of first responders arriving at our buildings. So instead of picking up a phone and calling 911 or calling dispatch, you can just hit a button or pull a lever, and that will trigger an immediate response.
Now, technology is great and everything, but the harder thing is that we're people, and we get to know each other face to face. It's important to have a face to both security and maybe just, getting to know people. One of those new people is that you have a new school resource officer. Is that correct?
We do. And so the face of safety in Lansing School District 158 now is Detective Jennifer Lewis. She is a police officer with the Lansing Police Department. She formerly worked for the Chicago Police Department. She has experience working in youth services with the Chicago Park District, a bachelor's degree in physical education, so she has training and education as a teacher. And she also is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. And so we're very happy to have her in our buildings. She's been getting out to the schools. As I mentioned, she helped educate all of our communities at the junior high school this morning for the first day. And this will help us differentiate the services provided to our district versus the high school, because Detective Kiara Bogan was the school resource officer helping us out, but she's really assigned to TF South. And so now this will give us a school resource officer who is purely for the 5 schools of Lansing 158.
And that's not just about security, correct? I mean, there's a lot more to a school resource officer than just being there for security.
Absolutely. And Chief Phillips and I have been very proactive in saying this is about relationships. This is about finding someone who will engage with kids, engage with families, who will be proactive, who will be restorative, who will help de-escalate situations, who will help educate, who will bring back some of the police educational initiatives like Danger that we haven't had for a couple of years because of COVID-19, and who will really be an active and engaged presence at student events, activities, and in the classrooms, and be more of a preventative presence and a positive role model for kids from the police department as opposed to actually policing children.
Well, I think that's great. And of course, security is always it's a very important issue, I should say, with everyone these days. But besides the security, one of the most important things is stuff like your programming and your teachers. What kind of programming, maybe do you have some new programming this year, or programming you'd like people to know about?
So we've been doing a lot of curriculum updates at our schools. I give a lot of credit to Dr. David Kostopoulos, who is our new Executive Director of Curriculum and Assessment. This is his second year in the role. He assumed the role last year. We've been doing a number of curriculum and textbook updates at both the elementary and the junior high school level across all of the core disciplines. And in particular, we've developed a new class at the junior high school, which is career exploration. We had a character education class at the junior high for a long time. Mrs. Sue Alexa taught that. She retired last year and did a great job with that program. And so now we're very happy to have Mrs. Val Coy step into that role to kind of elevate that class now to the next level, which is college and career readiness, articulating with some of the things being done at TF South High School, helping kids explore career options, and really articulating with what college degrees, what training, what education, what salary potential could they get from looking at career opportunities.
So the focus with schools is on programming, but also teachers. I mean, teachers are kind of, the most important aspect of it. You don't have teachers, you don't have anybody teaching. How's the relationship been with teachers in the district?
Teachers are the foundation of any educational organization. And we have over 160 teachers and certified support staff in Lansing 158. There has never been a more important time to be a teacher coming out of COVID-19 to address issues of learning loss, and there's never been in recent history a more challenging time to be a teacher considering some of the issues coming out of the pandemic. That has presented some rather unique challenges in the school district, and we're very happy to say that over the course of the past spring and summer, the Board of Education and Lansing Education Association worked very closely together to negotiate a new 5-year contract for all of our teachers that goes through 2027 and offers many very fair, competitive, and meaningful benefits to the largest group of staff in our school district to both attract and retain excellent employees. We do pride ourselves as being a destination school district. We have wonderful teachers who care deeply about our kids, and I saw that firsthand today as I was going around the schools.
That's great. And I know on top of that, we also have administrative hires that you've had recently. Could you talk a little bit about the new administrative hires?
Absolutely. So Mr. Sean Walsh was the associate principal at Memorial Junior High School. He's been promoted to assistant executive director of student services. We've worked very hard to make sure we have the appropriate support staff in place, and that is an expansion of our student services office, which provides special education to the district. Along with that, I would say, to go back to teachers for 1 second, for the first time in the history of our school district, we now have one English learner teacher, English as a second language, for every building in the school district. So historically, we've had 2 or 3 teachers. This year we have 5. And so that is a very important intervention that we're putting in place for our children that do not speak English as a primary language, or to help them learn, because sometimes they are disproportionately affected with learning loss with something like the pandemic.
Of course.
And so that kind of works through the Student Services Office and Support Programs Office as well. Mrs. Kristen Foster is our new associate principal at the junior high school. She's replacing Sean. And Mr. Kennard Jarrett is joining us at Revis Elementary as the new assistant principal.
So it sounds like you just have a lot of new exciting things this year. I know another aspect was construction. Now, we've had a lot of construction in your district for a while now. And one of the ones that's still going on that you want to talk a little bit about is some construction at Leicester Crawl.
Absolutely. So Leicester Crawl Primary Center right now is being renovated and expanded for about $14 million. We have been very fortunate in our district to do construction in all of our buildings, and Leicester Crawl is, quite frankly, overdue. The building has historically, since I've been here for 5 years, about 120 kids, and we've actually had to turn down grant money and programs from the state because we don't have enough physical space to expand our preschool, our transitional kindergarten, and our early childhood programs. And so now, if you were to go over off of Green Bay Avenue and kind of look at the construction happening across the lawn from TF South, you would see a brand new building being built behind the existing Leicester Crawl. So the goal is, when that's done, and we're aiming for a fall 2023 opening, that would result in doubling the student enrollment of that building. So if we have about 250 3- and 4-year-olds, that increases early intervention, and that improves the number of students coming in, getting supports, and being more successful in kindergarten all the way through 8th grade when they graduate.
Well, we had a lot to talk about. We've had a lot that we've gone over, and I know we could probably keep going over more and more, but we'll have you on next year so we could talk more about things that are happening in this district.
That sounds great.
But before we go, I just want to say this whole time I've noticed that you have this big shiny ring on. I don't know if anybody can see that, but you have this big shiny ring on. Could you talk, what is that? What's that all about?
I'd be happy to. So this actually is a state softball championship ring from 2017 from when I was the principal of Beecher High School. Okay. And I'm wearing it right now because it reminds me of another championship that we celebrated over the course of the summer and actually shared with our staff during the opening institute 2 days ago. So something that we're emphasizing this year is relationships, is building positive working relationships between all stakeholders within the school district. So that includes our staff, our families, our business owners, our community members. And what we did at the district office, at the suggestion of Dr. Kostopoulos, who I had mentioned earlier, he worked at Lanoak Lanes during high school. And so he knows a little bit about their league bowling, and he suggested, why don't we create a league bowling team for the 10-week summer league? And what happened was we ended up with 6 district staff members who got together on Monday nights, and we ended up winning the first place league championship at Lanoak Lanes.
That's amazing.
So, but to the point of relationships, not only was it enjoyable, not only was it a good recreational activity, it was a chance to get to know my staff in a personal way outside of the work context. And so I've encouraged all staff at all levels of the district to do things similar, especially because of the stress and the challenges that we're going through right now in the profession of education. Having those personal relationships and support mechanisms are now more important than ever.
Well, that's a great first-year success story, first place, and I'm sure you guys are going to come back with first place again next year. Huh?
We are going to hope to, yes.
Well, as always, it's great to have you on the show, Dr. Nathan Schilling, and we're looking forward to having you on again, so thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Neil. It's my pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside Lansing.